Joined now by head coach of Minnesota State, the Mavericks victorious in Mankato tonight, 9-2 win over Bowling Green. Your thoughts on the game, Mike?
Well, I liked our start. We've looked back over our last few weeks and we've had a tough time getting the first one. And so I thought tonight, getting the first one early allowed us to, I think, get the crowd into the game. We had a really good crowd tonight at 4,000 plus. And, I thought the line of Nathan Smith, Cade Borchardt, and Julian Napravnik, very good 5-on-5. I thought they were difference makers on the power play, and they did a good job at allowing us to get off to a lead. And from that point on, it was, a little bit of back and forth. I thought a couple of turning points was the 5-on-3, where we ended up not giving up a goal. I thought Dryden made a couple of really big saves, and the three they're killing it, did a great job at kind of keeping that at bay. And so just happy we got our first win of the weekend here at home in front of a good crowd, and look forward to tomorrow.
Start off with Daniel McElroy, please.
Hey, Coach, congrats on the win. Would you say that this is Cade Borchardt's most complete game this year?
Yeah. And you've watched quite a few of them, I would say so. And he's been coming. When on Saturday, before he cracked that egg that he had in the scoring column as far as goals, he had about 3 or 4 opportunities early in that game where he missed the net, shot it wide, shot it over the net. It looked like he was gripping the stick a little bit. And from the time that he scored the first one, it didn't take him long to get the second one. And I think there was a weight of the world lifted off his back, and I thought he played very well.
Shane Frederick, then Kevin Dudley.
Hey, Mike, it's players talk, and you can see it usually late in games how hard it is, and maybe Ryan Sandlin tonight, how hard it is to get a hat trick. And you've had a couple nights in a row now at home where guys have gotten them early. What goes through guys' minds when they have 2 goals and they even early in a game, and Cade, for instance, thought he had his hat trick at the end of the first period, and still ended up getting it. But what goes through players' minds when that happens, especially when it's that early and there's a game to play, and you have to kind of stay on your game as opposed to trying to get somebody kind of a little bit of a milestone.
I'm going to have you ask those guys. I've never experienced it, Freddie. I'm not quite sure what goes through their mind. It's one that you hope that they continue to stay on point. And I think the guys you're talking about it with, Brendan Furry and now Cade Borchardt, they're humble guys. The great thing about that, when you're on a bench and somebody's got to, if you got a good group of guys, they're trying to get the guy the third, as opposed to him going out and trying to get the third. So, I'm happy for Cade, because as I said, as early as last week going into Saturday, he hadn't had one. And so it's good that they came in bunches for him, but it'll be a reset tomorrow, and Cade will be ready for tomorrow's game.
Kevin, you're up.
Hey, Mike. You've talked about the importance of getting traffic to the net lately. It seemed like tonight Morton's was a tip, the first one, Cade's second, was right at the paint. He paid the price. Sandelin had a tip. I think Livingstone was impacted by traffic. How happy were you tonight with the way guys really impacted their goaltender?
Well, it's nice when they're rewarded for their effort, and those aren't real pleasant places to go. It's hard to get to the paint. You have to pay a price, and sometimes you're rewarded for it, sometimes you're not. And tonight they were, and we're going to need to, continue on that if we want to score 5-on-5 goals. It's hard in college hockey right now to score 5-on-5. Even strength, even 4-on-4, there's a little more ice. But teams defend so well. Goaltenders, if they see it, are going to stop it at this level more than 95% of the time. They're that good. And so you need to have traffic and second and third opportunities. And we had a few of those tonight. And again, the guys were rewarded for it.
Daniel, you have a question.
Speaking of the special teams, both of Bowling Green's goals came off of the penalty kill. Do you want to talk a little bit about how that went for you tonight?
Yeah, I thought, we force a dump on their first power play goal, and we get first stick on it. and it stays in our zone, and then we end up getting seamed, and they do a good job and are rewarded for getting a puck in the paint and then getting a second whack at it. And so, it's something we're still trying to progress as far as, it'd be nice to go through a game and not give one up. But I thought our power play did a really good job of making that equal or above. And I thought not only did we score a couple of power play goals, but possession opportunities. I think the one shift we had 3 posts on the one power play. So we got momentum off that. And, special teams are called that for a reason. They can make a difference in a game. And tonight we were good on one side, maybe not so good on the other. And we just got to keep getting better at it and focusing on what we get to control.
Shane, you have another question?
Yeah, you mentioned, obviously, I mean, the points speak for themselves, but the Smith, Borchert, Napravnik line, how much difference do you think it made from last weekend to this weekend having Julian back in the lineup?
Well, I think he's anytime you inject the offensive player of the year from the previous year, and Julian had a good summer, and he's energy, positive energy, whether it's practice or coming to the rink. And this week he brought energy to our lineup Monday through Thursday. Same thing with Lucas Sauter, just because they're good guys to be around. They're good hockey players. And I just think, you see there's some chemistry between that line. They've been together for quite a while. There's not many times they get split up. When they do, they let me know about it. But they've done a good job at I think when you give them the opportunity. I thought tonight you saw there was just a different hop in their step.
One more question for Mike. Kevin Dudley.
Hey, Mike, Andy Carroll, I thought tonight put together a really good game, bunch of shots. I think two of the tip-ins he shot. Maybe just talk about what you saw from Andy tonight.
I thought that was by far Andy's best game. And you know what went to Andy a couple of weeks ago and even more so recently, he skates so well, and just talked to him about trying to have a little bit more deception to his game up there and find ways to get pucks to the net. And I thought he simplified his game tonight and was outstanding, and he was rewarded for that. I think he had 3 assists. He had 5 shots on net. He was +3. There just weren't a lot of holes in his game tonight. I thought he was consistent from start to finish. I mean, I'm happy for him because he's very critical of himself. He holds himself to a pretty high standard, and it was great to see him have the game that he had tonight.